Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, sir. Principal sir has got some last minute meeting. So he would be joining after some time. So he has asked me to start with the webinar. So good afternoon, Dr. Ramachandran, our distinguished speaker of the day, Professor Balram Pani, other distinguished guests, my dear colleagues and participants. I, Dr. Uma Dhawan, convener, Research and Project Assessment Committee of Bhaskaracharya College of Applied Sciences, University of Delhi, welcome you all to the third session of the International Webinar Series on Research Integrity and Ethics. This is an outreach program to raise awareness and enhance the understanding of the basic practices of integrity and ethics in research among students and faculty members. With these words, I welcome our speaker, Dr. Ramachandran. I am happy to introduce him. He is a senior principal scientist and professor of the ACSIR in the Faculty of Biological Sciences, CSIR Institute of Genomics and Integrative Biology, New Delhi. Dr. Ramachandran has a vast research experience of more than 25 years post-PhD and teaching experience in bioinformatics for more than 14 years. His current research interests span understanding disease comorbidities and small molecule inhibitors against Mycobacterium tuberculosis. He has expertise in the fields of integrative bioinformatics and molecular biology, data analytics, developing packages in R. Recently, his research group developed methods for prediction of virulence factors based on machine learning, integrative immunoinformatics, PubMed text mining, Gene Atlas for type 2 diabetes comorbidities. Sir has more than 60 research publications and 2 patents to his credits. He has also commercialized a software. He has been invited to deliver lectures in more than 100 conferences and workshops. He has guided 8 MTech and PhD students and trained about 60 other students. He has been the reviewer of journals like BMC Bioinformatics, Nature Scientific Reports, and also for many PhD theses. Welcome, sir, and over to you now.
Yeah, hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Today my topic will deal with one aspect of research ethics and integrity, which is called, in some ways it is called plagiarism. So I'll be dealing with this issue, and what I will do is I'll build some scenarios. And in these scenarios, I would request you to participate actively and express your understanding or views. There is no need to worry whether you are wrong or right, because if it is not right, then we will correct it. If it is right, then there is no problem. And this way, we will turn this into a learning exercise of today. Okay. So first there will be little bit, a few, we'll go through a presentation slides that is going to act as visuals for us, but the rest of the activity will be proper active, not like switching on the mobile and sitting in some sofa and just listening. So it has to be an active participation, which will help us to learn in a productive manner. So I request Uma, if you can start sharing the presentation.
Yes, sir. Give me a second. Yeah.
Okay. So this is coming partly. Yes. So I hope you all can see the slides. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Can you all see the slides?
Yes, sir, we can.
Okay, okay.
Yes, sir.
So the title that I for us today is basically two computer commands. Uh, Everybody has a computer, everybody has a laptop, and therefore these days having a computer is not something that is surprising. During my days, when I was student like you, I had to go to the department to access a computer. But now everybody has computer, at least a laptop, and therefore we start with computers. So the two commands, which is called Control C and Control V. So Control C is used for copy and Control V is used for paste. There are other commands also, but for us today, these two commands are of prime importance. So how it is to be used and how it is not to be used is what we want to learn today. Next slide. Yes. So in text editors, like a Word editor or a Google document editor, if you select a text and say Control C, if you hit the button Control and C together in the keyboard, then it will copy that text and keep it somewhere in the clipboard or in the memory somewhere. Then you take the cursor to where you want the text to be pasted, and there you again hit the two button, Control and V this time. So this is called the paste command used by text editors again. So these are simple, basically copy and paste commands. You can also do with mouse click. In fact, in the Microsoft Word of the new version, you can see copy and paste are provided in the very beginning. Why? Because it is very popularly used. This is very, very regularly, popularly used, very frequently used, and therefore the icons for these commands are made in every application. In mobile also, if you select a text, you will see copy. It will come in the word as copy because that is a very popularly used activity. Now, what is about it? Next slide, please. Uma, next slide. Yeah. So now let us say, suppose we want to copy a text. The text is something like this, which is written as, I can accept failure. I can accept failure. Everyone fails at something, but I can't accept not trying. This is a famous quote said by Michael Jordan. And if you want to use this quote in your in any writing or any other place, then this is the way you must write it. So the quote should be in double quotes and then immediately followed by the name of the person or the citation of from where that quote has been taken. So here this is attributed to Michael Jordan. So here the quote is mentioned in double quotes and the name of Michael Jordan is mentioned. Now suppose any of these will be missing. Like if the double quotes was missing from the beginning and the end of the sentence, or if the name Michael Jordan was missing, then this will fall under plagiarism. Okay, meaning that it is unethical to copy a text which is attributed to somebody and then use it without citing that person. The next example is the future depends on what you do today. So here also it is quote that is attributed to Mahatma Gandhi and widely popular. Now, whenever we write the quotation, we have to put double quotes like this, and then followed by the name of the person to whom the quote is attributed. This is very, very important. It may be a small double quote, but if you miss it, it gives a very different meaning. In fact, it gives the meaning that a person is doing an unethical job of taking something from somewhere without giving attribution to that person. So this is the normal, I would say, which is accepted now, that if you mention it like this, then it is not considered as plagiarism. In fact, it is considered as a mark of respect given to that person and also attribution given to that person. Then the third case we take, where again it is in double quotes. COVID-19 is the disease caused by a new coronavirus called SARS-CoV-2. This is a single line quote that is written in the WHO website. So you can mention this in double quotes, and then you have to cite immediately the reference near to that, the reference from where this quote sentence was taken. Okay. This much is allowed. If you copy more than one sentence and put it in double quotes, then again it will become a problem. Okay, so one sentence, very important sentence, which you need for starting a document or somewhere in the which is very critical for you, then it helps your document to the reader in a way. It is gives some effects, it gives a good effect of your article. Then such one sentence copy paste is allowed, but it has to be placed within double quotes. Now the double quotes you have to give. It cannot come in copy paste by itself. If it is there in the text originally, it is fine, but many times it may not be there. So then we have to add these double quotes at the beginning and end of the sentence, which is very critical for a particular article that one may be writing. So this is a very simple thing, and but a lot of mistakes is done by a lot of students, college students, MSc students, and even many big writers, even committee members who are drafting policy documents. They also are not aware of this, and they make big mistakes of copy pasting texts which are attributed to somebody else. Next slide, please. So now let's build with scenario 1. So the scenario 1 is, one day while playing golf, Mr. X says to Mr. Y, you know what? I wrote an article while sipping coffee in cafe. That's all that person is saying to Mr. Y. So Mr. Y says, oh, what it is about? And Mr. X says, it is about golf. Mr. Y asked, can I take a look at it? A very simple, friendly, chat it is, and asking, can I take a look at it? Mr. X replied, okay. He is also replied it as okay. Mr. Y read the article and found it quite nice, a bit witty, and a pleasure. So he really liked the article. Now see what Mr. Y is doing. Mr. Y changed a few sentences here and there, changed the title, and sent to a newspaper publisher in his name. Okay. Then and did not inform probably Mr. Y. We don't know. Then what happened? One day, sitting in a public library, Mr. X was reading some newspaper and suddenly found an article about golf authored by Mr. Y. It took only a few seconds for him to realize that this article was very much like the one he had written. He then cut his friendship with Mr. Y and never met him again. What did Mr. Y do wrong? So, can we have some views here from the participants?
Maybe you can raise your hands in case if you want to speak, or you can write that in the chat box.
Yeah, feel free.
Yeah.
What did Mr. Y do wrong? Hello?
Yes, sir. Sir, there are few, like Dhriti is writing, paraphrased the entire document.
Okay.
Then there is another one. Okay, it's like moving so quickly. From Dr. Muhammad, he's saying this is cheating to his friend. Then Dr. Shikha,
Yeah.
Mr. Y did not give credit to Mr. X.
Yeah.
Then another student, Mr. Dash, Mr. White didn't credit Mr. X appropriately. Mr.
Yeah.
X had not been given the credit, stole the
Yeah.
idea and paraphrased,
Yeah.
plagiarized his content.
Very
Mr.
good.
Y didn't give the due credit to Mr. X. Yes.
Yes.
So there we have many
Yes.
answers in the chat box.
So now you see, everybody is clear what wrong Mr. Y did, isn't it? Everybody is clear. Okay. But you look at the situation today with respect to the articles, answer sheets, laboratory notebooks written by students. You tell me, it is as any teachers, if they are there in the participant group, anybody would have noticed that many of the reports of students would be like Mr. Y. Do you not agree?
Absolutely, sir.
Yeah. So now this is, Renu. Now, see, everybody knows what wrong Mr. Y has done. It is not that they didn't know. But when it comes to the activity, when it comes to the work, then a lot of people, I won't say most, but a lot of people do what Mr. Y is doing. Why this is happening? I will go into that in the next few slides as to why this is happening and how this is to be avoided. Clearly, this has to be avoided because everybody is very clear that the whatever wrong things that Mr. Y did. Now, let us look at Mr. X. Let us look at Mr. X, who has produced the document in the first place. Okay. Next slide, please. Yes. So we get into what is called rights. Okay. The term called rights. Rights means it is something that I can do. I have it within me. I can do it. That is called rights. So the person who says or writes means likhna writing, owns it. So Mr. X wrote the document, which means Mr. X owns it. Okay. So the first thing that Mr. Y did not think even for a second before doing any of the paraphrasing and etc., is that, array bhai, that article is owned by Mr. X. That respect and recognition, it did not strike him. It did not strike in his mind. Okay. Therefore, the person owns the copyright and with it associated terms and conditions. So Mr. X owns the copyright and with it associated terms and conditions because he has written it. When this right is violated, one gets into plagiarism. This is basically what is the reason for getting into plagiarism. That is, the right of the person who has the copyright, who has originally written it, is violated. And that is actually causing the basic problems that we see today. Now, there is something I want to share with you. I watched a movie, maybe in TV or Netflix, I don't remember now. I stopped Netflix now, but maybe it was in TV. What happened was that a person, you might have also seen it, I think. Some of you might have seen it. There was a person who was posted in France during the war, I think. And he wrote some novel in typewriter, those days in typewriter. Then what happened, he was carrying that manuscript with him, very thick manuscript, but forgot in the train and got down and went away. Then another person, he just saw that there was like this one bag, and inside the bag he saw the manuscript and found that this is having some novel-like stories. So he actually put it together and published in his name because there was no name attached in that. There was no name attached, nothing was attached in that. So he simply put it in his name and published it. What happened? That novel became a big hit. Once it became a big hit, this second fellow who actually published it, he was called, invited, and those literary clubs they have, and they discuss, and then they probably gave him some prize or something also. And the whole thing was publicized in the newspapers. Then the original fellow came to know that this was his manuscript. Okay. So he didn't come charging after him, but because he didn't put his name, so his claim was not very clear. So then anybody could have picked it up. So he knew that, but the second person, did he still do something ethical or unethical? Because this is where the question of ethics comes. The question of ethics comes where you don't have any other borders. That person didn't put his name in the manuscript. Now, for this person to use that and put it in his name, was that ethical or unethical? What do you feel? Hello?
Yes. Can we have some answers in the chat box,
Participants,
please?
what do you feel?
Unethical. Yeah. There are
Okay.
many, and all of them are saying unethical.
All of them are saying unethical, fine. All of them are saying unethical, fine. Now, if you go to a shop and many shopkeepers have these paper bags they have, which is made from students' torn notebooks, and they might have solved some mathematical problem. From there, you got the solution and you picked it up, and then you reproduced it and mentioned it somewhere, would that be ethical, unethical? Would that be chargeable? How do you feel? Hello?
Yes. Answers in the chat box, please.
Yeah, anything. Say whatever you feel naturally.
Not chargeable. One answer.
Yeah,
Dr. Shikha Srivastav.
yeah,
Another from Dhriti. That's the entire basis for guided. Now it does feel unethical.
yeah.
No. So it's not chargeable. That is what others are also saying.
Yeah.
Okay, guides.
Okay. So nobody can come after you for doing that work. But once you get into commercial, then if somebody has seen it and documented it, then they may file a case in the court against a person. If you get into commerce, if it, as long as it is not into commercial, then people may say forget it. Okay, jane do. Okay. So there are these kind of issues we come across every day, and students are not very much aware of what is ethical and what is unethical, and therefore they get into these problems unknowingly. Now let's look at rights and freedom in this slide. Just because authors have made available their written text, it doesn't mean that readers or users can copy their texts. It doesn't mean. You can copy a single line if it is very important, like from the WHO report or Michael Jordan's quote or whatever. Single lines which are very important for you, mention it in double quotes and give the person attribution and the citation, then it is okay. People, that is accepted. But you cannot copy large portions of the text, still put it in double quotes and say, this is, I have cited the person. What is the problem? No, that is not allowed. Sorry. Because that text belongs to that author. That author is owning that text. So therefore, you cannot copy entire text of that person unless that author has declared it, saying that yes, you can use the text in whatever way you please, you can modify it and you can do whatever you want. If that explicit declaration is there, then you can. Otherwise, you cannot. So, authors are copyright holders in open access models of publishing. So, what to do? Let us see what to do. In other cases, where authors are not having copyrights, they are submitting their copyright to the publisher. So like we published a manuscript recently, we signed an agreement to the publisher and we gave our copyright to the publisher. Now, publisher Elsevier is the holder of copyright. So if anybody wants to reproduce any part of it, because copying large portion of text is essentially reproduction. Okay, reproduction bolte hain usko. Reproduction, then they have to take permission from the publisher, Elsevier. During asking for permission, you genuinely say, this is my requirement, this is what I want to do, and this is what I intend to do, and this is what it is. You give all the details and say 99% chance that you will get the permission. You don't have to do unethical things. A person holding a copyright has to be asked for permission for reproduction or reuse. Why? Because you are taking that text and reproducing it in your document. That means The document is yours, not theirs now. And in your document, you are having significant text from that person's document. Copy. You may do a little bit of paraphrasing also. Then also, it comes under more or less copy, called reproduction. Or sometimes if you want to use their figures, this figure, they have made it very well. So I want to use it in my document. So that is reusing that figure. So if you want to reuse the figure or reuse the text, then you have to ask permission from the authors. People asked me permission. Through email, I simply gave them permission. There was no problem at all. Unless if somebody think that you are going to do some unethical work, then they may not. Okay. So therefore, there is actually no need to violate copyright. You can ask the permission. More often than not, you will get the permission and you can do the reproduction as per your plan. Let's go to next slide. Okay, so we now try to understand what is called copyright. So Uma, can you say control and click on the bottom URL there in the slide? Control and click. KJ. Then in the browser, we should see the opening of the handbook. It will come in the browser. It will take a few seconds. What happened?
Sir, actually it was the PowerPoint which was shared and it has opened in the browser. So it would take a couple of seconds. Just stop share and then,
Yeah. If you share the desktop, then there should be no issues, I think. Yeah. So you can see here a handbook of copyright law. This is published by Secretary to Government of India, Department of Secondary Education and Higher Education. A person called Valsala, I think, Srimati Valsala Kutti. They had put out this effort. So you can see very clearly that there is acute lack of awareness on various issues relating to copyright and related rights among stakeholders, and therefore they put out this document. Can you scroll down a little bit, please? Yeah, it went quite fast, I think. Can you scroll up a little bit, Umar? Yes. So the rationale of copyright protection. What is copyright? Why should copyright be protected? All these questions are nicely answered here. All these questions are nicely answered here. So can you go back to the PPT?
Yes, sir. Second, please.
Yeah.
Sir, you have unmuted.
Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah. Copyright means dictating the terms and conditions of use. So it is a right. Okay. There is also a copy left about which we won't go into today. it is called open source community attribution. So Creative Commons license, under that you have what is called copyleft. So
yes,
here,
sir, in the most probably in the next webinar by Professor Savitri Singh, she would be talking about common creatives and
excellent,
copyright.
excellent.
Yeah.
That would be really good.
Yes.
So here we are only dealing with right. Who gives copyright? The law of the land. Who takes copyright? Mainly creators, like who are doing creative work like literature, writing novels, poems, and so on. Plays, that is, you have seen Shakespeare's play, Rabindranath Tagore's play, and so on. Music, Bismillah Khan Shenai music, then some other Bollywood musician music, artwork like painting, okay, M.S. Hussain's painting and so on, Ravi Verma painting, etc. Cinema, making the cinema, and so on. They will all take copyright because the document will be submitted with a form and it will be given to the Copyright Protection Agency of Government of India, and that is how they will register it as a copyright. Anybody violates the copyright, then that person can be charged by going to the court, and then whatever happens in the court happens. Why take copyright? You think of Mr. X now. If Mr. X had taken protective copyright by registering it in the Copyright Protection Office, then he could have charged Mr. Y and filed a case in the court saying that you stole my work. Because he didn't do that, he cannot now charge Mr. Y. The only thing he can do is keep. I'm sorry, I'll just take this one call. Sorry for that interruption.
Yeah, no problem.
So this is basically what is the reason to take a copyright. Whenever you make a computer program, you make you write a novel, and you want to publish it, then the publisher will take a copyright on behalf of you, or publisher will take the copyright on himself, register it, and then he will put all the terms and conditions that this product may not be copied or reproduced in any other forms, and so on and so forth. You will see it written in the first page. As you turn the title page, the first page will contain all these things, conditions, and so on. Why and how this is helpful? You saw the case of Mr. X. Okay, how to protect the creative activity. Otherwise, people won't do creative work. If this protection was not there, then people will not do creative work. Arey, wo to chori ho jayega. Why we should do it? Okay, so therefore we need to have this protection. Then it also makes us respect and pay for that work. See, the person who is doing the creative work, that person has invested time, thinking, and everything. Then that person should be given respect and also payment for the work. Because what will that person do for a living? That person's only way of living is writing or painting. So then that person has to be paid. If people will just take the creative works and keep going away without paying the person, then the person will not be able to earn a living and make a living. So this is for a clean and decent way of living. So we have to understand the meaning of this. And we have to respect the person who has produced the creative work in the first place. Next slide, please. Yeah. Now we go to scenario 2. So here I want participants' engagement. So two students A and B discuss an assignment. This is very common. I have faced it every year in my teaching course. They are classmates. After the discussion is done, B says to A, after you have submitted the assignment, please send me also. I will just take a look at it. This is what B is telling to A. And they are friends, they are classmates. In an hour, B also submits the assignment. The teacher, when checking the assignment, sees great similarity between both submissions. The teacher sent an email to both A and B that their assignments were graded one level below the deserving grade. What did A and B do wrong here? Participants, what did A and B do wrong here that they got a lower grade than the deserving grade from their teacher?
Yes, students?
Hello? It is
Type
coming
in
in
your
chat.
answers in the chat box.
What is coming?
A shared his work and B used A's work without reference.
Okay.
Yeah. Others, please.
Yeah.
They had common points in their assignments, which is plagiarism.
Mm-hmm.
Another one is hybrid and remix.
Yeah.
Can we have more answers? Yeah. Answers from others also.
You tell from your very natural feeling that who did what wrong here, because both of them got one grade low.
Yeah. So A should not have sent his work to B.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And B should not have definitely copied it. B just take the project as a whole. Just a minute, I just scrolled up. Just take the project as a whole instead of getting inspired by A. B copied the text. A shared his work without specifying that B should not copy. It is copying which is nullifying the reason for the assignment. It was mostly paraphrasing on B's part. Yeah. And A should have given some, just a minute, sir, like,
yeah,
so fast, like, yeah. And A should have given some hints to B, not the entire assignment.
Okay.
A copies it from somewhere without citing the work, and B then took the things from the A's work and paraphrased it.
Oh, this is a little different. Yeah. Okay.
B copied the work which was wrong.
Okay. Now tell me, what wrong did A do actually? Did A do anything wrong at all? He was asked by his classmate, his or her classmate, please send it, I'll just take a look at it, that's all. Can you tell me, is there anybody who will not share by these very nice words?
So there is another one, A trusted B. So
yes, of course. Trust is the very basis of any relation. So this is perfectly fine. A trusted B cannot be a wrong. You know, that doesn't mean A should get a one grade low. Nah? Just think about the teacher. Teacher is seeing two manuscripts which are highly similar. Okay. Just think about the teacher.
Yeah, don't think it from the point of view of students A and B.
Yeah. Think from the point of view of teacher. Suppose you were a teacher and you got two manuscripts, one from A, one from B, and they were very similar.
Yeah. So, sir, there is an answer. Teacher didn't know who copied whose work.
Ah, good, good, good.
Yeah, because teacher won't be knowing like who has submitted. Sometimes it might also happen that the B has submitted before the A has submitted. So
That is
teacher
going
won't have
on
an
in
idea.
the background. Teacher has no clue. Okay.
So there is another one, might have been a group effort according to her or him,
Yeah.
like according to the
Yeah.
teacher.
It happens with group effort also. These things happen. And teacher might even say that you can discuss in a group, but please don't copy from each other. Write your individual answers. Okay, teacher might have told that. And since both the manuscripts were same, and teacher just gave 1 grade low to both of them. Why? Because the teacher is not able to decide who copied from whom. Okay. And if the teacher asks A will say, I sent to B asked me just to take a look at it, and I sent to B. I don't know what happened. I never copied from anywhere. Then you call the B, and B will say, no, ma'am, no such thing happened. I sent to A, I showed to A. So then the teacher is caught between the two students who are protecting themselves, and they won't be able to decide. So the best thing to do is give 1 grade low to both of them. That's how teacher, examiner, any plagiarism software, any of these what you call checkpoints, they will deal with the situation like this. Okay. Now, what can be done here? This is what I want to know from you. See, A cannot file a copyright. A is writing a manuscript and submitting a teacher, so A cannot register a copyright in a copyright office and then submit. Nah, that is not practical. So, what do you think should be the modality between A and B?
There is one reply. A could show the chat screenshots, or A submitted it before B, so maybe on the basis of time of submission. B should reference A. Answers from more.
See, time of submission, I will tell you, teacher has given a particular date and time. If before that A and B both have submitted, then teacher cannot differentiate whether one person has submitted 1 hour before and another person has submitted 5 minutes before. It is by the due date, so you cannot differentiate between A and B on the basis of time. Now, how A and B should interact so as to avoid this situation? This is what I'm trying to know from you. What are your ideas? This is a very common problem. This problem has been researched by Turnitin, and that link is given here. If Uma ma'am can control click, you can see the site, and you can see they have found students who do different forms of plagiarism. They are categorized in these different categories. You can copy paste the text in the browser, and then also they can see. So you can see clone, control C, so many ways, find, replace, remix. Students do all kinds of things. And most teachers would find in the laboratory notebooks and the question answers in the assignments some of many of these ways and means that students adopt.
Sir, there are many.
Why they adopt, we'll go to that.
Chat box. Sir, there are many more in the chat box.
So
it's like A can help B, guide him with the assignment instead of giving the entire document. B could make some compensation to A. I don't understand what kind of a compensation this is talking about.
How will teacher give
Okay. Then there is another one. A should have guided and explained the concept to B because the human mind is lazy. And once one gets his her hands on free stuff, we usually don't work harder to find any original insight of our own.
Yeah, you see, it is very easy to think in this way, but when it comes to one-to-one interaction, between people, it is very, very difficult. Like that Mr. X case. There was no way that Mr. X could say no to Mr. Y because he had no prior experience with Mr. Y that such a thing will happen. Okay. Similarly, with A and B, there is no prior experience, and therefore, since there is no prior experience, because there is no prior experience, there is no way that A could have suspected and acted in the way that you are now mentioning. This is fine. This is fine in the sense that it happens. Okay, it happens. You cannot help it. You have to trust some people, you have to trust among your friends. Then once you know that this fellow is a little is not in the right track, then just withdraw, that's all. So this is how most of us we deal with the activities that happens with it, because each and everything you cannot go for copyright and then take the person to the court. It is not practical. So here we people like teachers, reviewers, and many other readers, they have to act as checkpoints. Okay, and they have to point out this type of problems. So you can see the plagiarism spectrum which has been researched. You can scroll down and you can look at it yourself. This is done by Turnitin. The Turnitin has a software called plagiarism software, and this is purchased for the license in universities. So students who submit dissertations, they are first checked through this software, and if there is significant plagiarism, then they are rejected. They will not be taken for submission, and the degree will not be awarded. So you can scroll down and you can see this for yourself, that these are the different categories in which people have researched and found out how students do plagiarism. So far, whatever plagiarism I have seen in among the students, they all fit into this category. So it was very nice that I found this article. And I haven't found a very novel way of plagiarism so far. And they all generally fit into these different categories. Plagiarism, in the case of students, is a worldwide problem. It's not a problem of India. All over the world it happens. America, Africa, Australia, everywhere it happens. So everywhere people are worried about this. How to show the path to the students and teachers not to get into this unethical habit. We can go back to the PPT, Uma, madam.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Any more ideas in the chat? So far, how do you find? What do you find in this session? You can express. You may have questions. You can write in chat or you can ask. Can we take a few seconds to know? So far, how do you feel? How does everyone feel?
Yeah. Can we have some replies in the chat box? Yeah.
Yeah, you may ask, sir, when you were a student, what did you do? Yes, that is a good question. What did I do? Of course, naturally. So we were also taught by our professors that this is not to be done, and then there were many other issues. At that time, computer was not there. Now we used to write with pen and paper. So handwriting used to be a big problem. So handwriting was a bigger problem than plagiarism. Okay. So, but yes, some of the plagiarism parts were discussed, and they will come down very heavily on us and say that this is not to be done, and I will give 0 for this answer, and so on and so forth. This used to happen with us also. So let us now go to what is called scenario 3. The scenario 3 is a student write a dissertation report for MSc. Okay, in MSc, there is a 6 months dissertation student has to do. The examiner finds very little plagiarism in the text. Okay, so the examiner runs the dissertation document through a plagiarism software and finds that in the text there are no plagiarism, but 3 figures in the introduction chapter are copied from the internet, just copied. The examiner asks for permission for use of figures from the authors. In absence of permission, the examiner says dissertation not cleared. So this has become the normal now. Every dissertation submitted by student is now goes to the library where they have the software to run the plagiarism check, and if there is plagiarism above a certain percentage, then the dissertation will be returned. It will not be accepted in the department for any further proceedings. What wrong did the student do? Can we have some views from the participants? The student had copied 3 figures from the internet. In the text, the student didn't do any plagiarism. Student was wrote all by, or very little was there. Very little will always happen in science because certain facts, they have to be said exactly as it is.
So you say the student should have mentioned the sources.
Students, okay, that is one level. Another,
or tried to adapt them. The figure should have been redrawn by the student
yeah,
in his or own manner.
yeah,
Should have acknowledged the source.
yeah,
Yeah. He didn't respect the rights of the author on the figures.
yeah,
Should have, like the student didn't cite the images.
yeah,
Yeah, the acknowledgement and citation should be there. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
So many of us cannot draw very well. You cannot expect every student to draw very well. So naturally, some students will try to use the figures that are available for them. Okay, that is a natural tendency. Okay, but there is a copyright issue. So therefore, the student has to write to the authors and say that, look, I'm writing my dissertation, which is so and so work has been done this. Your figure is great. It is summarizing all the phenomena associated with this particular topic that I am writing. So can you please allow me to use your figure in my dissertation? So you write to the authors, and there are very good chances that authors might give permission. There are many people who are in the academia, they may refuse to give permission to students because they have a feeling, they have a belief that no, a master student must draw the figure themselves. Even if it is not fully complete, even if there are a few details missed out, they should still draw it, because that drawing exercise will make them learn that particular concept which they have to write in the dissertation. It is possible. So it depends. Sometimes because that author may be a professor only, and that professor is also carrying out his guide for many dissertations. So then that professor may take this stand. It is possible, and may not give the permission. Then in that case, the student has to draw it on their own. It is possible that the drawn figure may not look good, or it may leave out many small details. All these things are possible. So then in that case, we as people who are examining the dissertation, we should give some allowance to the student, saying that, okay, the student has tried at by himself or herself, maybe some drawing ways the student has not practiced very well. So okay, give some marks. Okay, don't discourage the student too much. Okay, give some marks and encourage. Next time, draw it better. Okay, next time try to draw it better. Take some tips from books or whatever, and try to draw it better. Okay, this kind of encouragement can allow the student to draw themselves the figure and not get into this plagiarism. Officially, you can see in the article written here, the link I have given here in Hindu. According to Tarun Khurana, co-founding partner, I have just this is written as such in the article, and I will tell you what particular clause I am using here in doing this. I also cannot copy paste, right? So what I am doing here, I am using this not to make any money. I am using this to teach a group of people and make them aware that what is this issue of copyright and how it applies. So I'm not making any commerce or any money, and my limits are within that. So this is called fair use. So this fair use is a practice which is understood and followed among the students and teachers, so that the students are not debarred from access to many such materials, and teachers are also not debarred from using these materials to explain them that what is correct and what is not right. So that Khurana, they are saying that copyright is not just with respect to your written content, but also to numerous other form factors, such as using images, which is what happened in this dissertation. Lyrics, it depends on if the student is attending a music department class, then lyrics will come there. Soundtracks, videos, or parts of it, even parts of it, without legal permission or authority. So this is the what is being said by Tarun Khurana, who is co-founding partner, patent attorney of Khurana and Khurana. Okay, but students may think at MSc, yeah, this is only MSc, so who will go into all this legal and all these things? So it doesn't matter. Okay, you put it together. The problem comes where the problem comes. Maybe the dissertation will pass, even with some plagiarism, but the student has not got the checkpoint. So student got through, teacher got through. Now, later stage, somebody finds, aha, these are the things which are copied and the students have submitted, and the teacher also let go. Guide also signed. Then that means both are involved in plagiarism. This is how it will come. And you might have seen last time, Daipyanda had given talk on the problems in the research papers. Same thing happened in research papers. Same thing. This is what he described in detail. All those things, how the images were copied, then like paraphrasing we do in language. In the case of images, they do flipping, rotating, and splicing, or all those things they are doing, which is not in the image language. That's what it is, which is equivalent to paraphrasing in the text plagiarism. And you see how many people have got into problems. More than 1,000 people are in problems, and they are so surprised because it is all exposed. It is all there in the public. Everybody can see it. Okay? Anybody goes to apply for a job, they will, at the click of a button, they will see all these details have come. Okay? So this is what is the problem, that eventually if the checking doesn't happen in time, then this is what it leads to. So as teachers, as guides, we must make the student realize you may be in urgency, you may cry, you may have lot of problems at home, lot of problems on the road, lot of things happening, fees, this, that, so many things are possible. I have listened to all these different things from students. But I say, sorry. Why? Because the moment I sign on a plagiarism content, then I also become party to it. And my office will not let me go. Mera boss hai na, I also have a boss. So my office will not let me go. So then I cannot allow you also to go through this. So this is basically what it is. We have come to the scenario 3. Next slide, Uma. So now let us just come to what is the problem with plagiarism. Let us try to understand this. Okay, plagiarism ho gaya, but what is the problem here? So next slide, let's look at that. Plagiarism kills creativity. So every student, every individual has their own original thinking. Let's accept that. Even if you ask them to explain Newton's law, which is same everywhere, they will explain it in different way. Each person will explain in different way. Why? Because it depends how that person has seen the world, how that person has absorbed, and so on and so forth. So creativity means thinking originally. So plagiarism, when something is available and you say, let's copy and do it, it kills your originality. If it kills originality, then what happens? Then in the later life, you are demanded of originality, you are not able to bring it out. The maximum originality emerges in the age of 20 to 30. That is the maximum peak. After that, the originality will start coming down slowly, slowly. Some people can still keep it up. Those who keep it up, it is good for them. But many people lose it. So the age between 20 to 30 being the maximum originality, you should be maximally creative. You should be maximally creative. You should not lose that originality by getting into plagiarism. One should not have that. And what is tempting today? What is tempting today is internet is easily available, mobile, everywhere it is available. Search engines are so great, okay? The search engines are so intelligent that if you type a product, it will immediately give you 4 or 5 options and say that, look, this is what it is. And most of the time, your choice will be one among them, even if you don't know anything about it. That people forget to use their own intelligence. So when the search engine is doing and everything is coming at the click of a button, then why I have to work so hard and use my own intelligence in order to find out what is the true product, what is the true thing that I want to do. So this is a great useful thing, but at the same time, it is a highly demotivating factor. Then the next thing that is important here is don't know what is the best answer. So copy any answer and submit, like the problem between A and B. Somehow B thought that what A wrote is probably best. Why take a chance? Why I write something and then I get lower marks? A jaise hi likh do na. Okay. So let us get same marks. So they both got same grade, yes, but they got lower grade. This is the tragedy. So on the other hand, if B had thought on their own and written the answer, then the teacher would know the truth, how much B knows, how much B understood, and would try to help the student in case it is lower. It is also possible that B could have written a much better answer. So great answer, the padke jawab maja aa gaya. That is also possible. So that loss is happening because of this plagiarism. So plagiarism kills creativity, and that's mainly the problem of plagiarism. Other aspects of plagiarism is that stealing somebody's things and making your own and things like that. Indecent way of life. That is another part of it, which is also associated with plagiarism. But that part can be taken care by the copyright part, but this creativity part, nobody can help. Once it is lost, it is gone. Next slide. Uma, how in time-wise, how we are doing?
Yeah, like I think so. Like we have some time still. Like
okay, good.
By my watch, it's only like
now. If I give you an example, I recently happened to see some movie. It was about a cook, I think, and I saw it. And then after some time, I saw another movie, which was also a cook movie. And suddenly I saw there were too much similarities between the two. You know what was the reaction of myself and people at home, everybody? You know what they said? It's a copy. This is copied. So nobody likes copying. Let us accept that. Nobody likes copying. This includes all individuals, you, me, everybody. Nobody likes copying. Okay. Everybody appreciates creativity in any form. Even if little done, people appreciate creativity. So this is something that is inherent in us. Then in that case, why to lose it? Now, how we should preserve this among the students, among the teachers, among everybody, how we should preserve this. So one way to preserve it is to announce in the very beginning that any form of plagiarism will invite penalty, and the penalty can include asking for revision, lowering of grades, and so on. Lowering of grade is a bit extreme step. I normally go for revision first and ask them to revise and revise, and until the article looks original in that person's nature. Lowering of grades can be done in exams. For example, you can say that this will happen, then lowering of grade will be done. That can discourage the forms of plagiarism that many people do. Similarly, for teachers also, there is a checkpoint in the what you call teachers also have their boss, and if plagiarism comes to their notice, they will give notice to teachers also. They will be barred from taking students, and all these things are there. So it applies equally to all. not that it applies only to students, it applies equally to all. Second is offer examples of writing, that is encourage students to write, even if they write wrongly, even if they write with spelling mistakes or grammatical mistakes. Give little bit of tolerance, some tolerance, and say, okay, do it better next time. Do it better next time. This way, their own writing habit will come into flow, and they will not have that reason, whether that answer would be better or this would be better. They will have the confidence built in them, which will actually help them write on their own. This I have practiced myself, and it works. Believe me, it works. I will tell you one story. So, what happened was, I gave an assignment, and there were two students who wrote it in a very originally and a great way. I appreciated it. And then I sort of fell for it also. I gave full marks, and then I was checking other papers. Then suddenly one paper appeared, and it looked, the way it was written, it looked that the language and the structure of the sentence and all look like it is coming from some published material. It was just my intuition, or what you say, experienced based observation. I got a doubt. So I copied the text and put it in Google search. And immediately that paper came out. And I saw the paper, and then I looked at the text and saw great similarity between what the student had written and the text. So I did not, so I controlled myself, and then I wrote very nicely to the student that, look, this is what you have done as I see it. Please don't do this. You write it in your own words. Even if you are writing 4 sentences, I will still accept. But please write in your own words. It worked. She revised it and sent it, and I gave the grade. Okay. Then after that, the message went that somehow sir is probably checking like this text thing and all. So people started writing on their own. And those who could not write, they just didn't write. They just made the plot and left it at that. They didn't write at all. No attempt at all. I said, TK, what can be done? You have to, we can do only so much. So at least kuch to likho, something you have to write, otherwise how we will give the grade. So I gave the marks for plot and for that student and left it. And I gave opportunity for revision also, the student didn't do. Anyway, like that, some students are there. Then this same girl, what happened was, she copied a figure this time in one of the assignments. I saw the figure and I felt that let me check, because somehow the figure is having certain ways of texture and all. Looks like it is some kind of a published figure, not assignment based figure a student has made. So I put some keywords and put in Google image, and I got that figure. Then I wrote to the student, now you have copied figure. Earlier you used to copy text, now you have copied figure. So figure also you cannot copy, because you saw what Khurana has said. Copyright applies to that also. So then I said, you either take permission from author and then you write it, otherwise you remove it. Then she redrew the figure, and I checked all the points, and there were some details missing, but it looked like she had drawn it. So I said, okay, so then that means when you can draw it, why the hell you want to copy it from somewhere? Yeah, you just draw it yourself. That's what how the thing ended. Another thing what I found to avoid plagiarism is to prepare a structure for writing. So if you give a blank paper, then somebody cannot write so easily. So you give something like introduction. What means introduction? Here you write method or something like that. You give some. I think this is called lead questions also sometimes. Not too much leading because we want their originality also to come, and encourage drawing, lot of drawing and other forms of creativity in students. So this is basically what it is. And if you click on the article here, springer.com, and the next few lines, yeah, this springer.com article, it is a paper actually, where you can see how the editors have said that they take plagiarism very seriously. If Uma ma'am can show it in the browser.
Yes, sir, doing it.
Yeah,
Taking
yeah.
a while, yes, sir.
I just have a few more slides so we can cover it. So, yes, so this is an article published by editors in Annals of Biomedical Engineering, 2013, 5 simple rules to avoid plagiarism. And this is open access. You can scroll down, you can read the whole article. So the first thing it says, what? Don't copy. And then it says, what are the things? Then say, write in your own words. It doesn't matter even if you make mistakes or anything. When in doubt, cite. Don't recycle images, figures, table, or text from one of your own previously published papers without citing. That's what had happened when Daipen Bhardwaj had explained to us how people used to recycle images from their own papers. And that's why they got into all this problem. They had done this many years before. Nobody knew. Then suddenly this pup here comes, and Elizabeth Bick madam comes, and she picks up all these papers and says, look, this is what is going on. So anything you do today, it can be caught tomorrow. And tomorrow doesn't mean next year or like that. It can happen after 8 years. Then after 8 years, how one can explain anything or anything? Nothing can happen. So that is why when he showed in the papier side, people were writing some silly explanations. Naturally, it will be silly only. What you can write after 7 years of publication? And it is wrong. And that wrong, somebody has picked it up. So that is why it is very, very important for students, teachers, everybody to be vigilant about this. We can go back to the slides. Yeah, next slide. Yes, so you can further read here how you should, here you can see why you should stop copy pasting. All these are written here. These are open articles. Next slide, please. So if English is not our mother language, then these are the problems which many students face. They're how to write. So then there are many sites are there which help. They provide this service, editing service. Some many of them are paid, I think. So if you are not having money, then it is a problem. Most students don't have money. So, but those who can afford, they can go to any of these sites as per their this thing and take editorial assistance. Take a few assistants for writing a few articles, few answers or whatever, and then the flow will start coming slowly, slowly. So the other option is reading novels by R.K. Narayan or Ruskin Bond. They are available for very low price, and you can buy. I have also bought. I also read when sometimes when I write an article and the editor says your English is not okay. I am so surprised. I have written so many papers and suddenly somebody is saying like this. So then I go back and I read these books by Ruskin Bond or R.K. Narayan. They are available for very low price, any shop, anywhere. But they are beautiful. They are nice stories, especially Ruskin Bond stories are very nice. I really like them. And the flow of English is so super that immediately you can come back and go to the editing of the paper, and then it works out very well. So these are ways by which you can improve. You can also talk to English teachers or various other English, because English is some language that you have to communicate. It's an international language and you have to know it. Now, I have read reports saying that lot of plagiarism is happening in the local language. That is English. So all these softwares are there, so you can catch. What about the other languages? So I was told that a lot of people, even officers and many others, they do plagiarism in those languages. So one main reason is that people cannot express or write. So if you can write yourself, then this motivation for plagiarism will go away. You will feel that, what is this? Let me write it on my own. Okay. So this happens, but what happens is that the quality of the writing doesn't come nicely. Okay, there are confusing sentences, confusing grammar, and so on. Then double meaning sentences, meaning this or that, and so on. And then where the commas should be placed, and so on and so forth. These create substantial problems. So for that, the only way to go about is to read these books, and you can also buy some other books which are written in good English. You can buy it in tea stalls, in the railway stations. Nowadays, you can't travel much, so you can do it through online. It will just come on your doorstep. And even if you don't want the printed book, we can buy ebook nowadays. That is even cheaper, and sometimes they give discounts. So you can buy, and on your same laptop you just read those. Then the flow of language will come, and it will avoid doing this plagiarism. So this is nothing to be ashamed of, in the sense that the language expression is not coming out right. One can go through good English books available at low price for writing in clear English. No need to copy from others. One can do it yourself. Next slide, please. Yes. So this is what is called the concept of fair use, which I had introduced during that slide where I showed in the Hindu, they have cited the Kurana patent associates. So certain use for non-profit teaching purpose in order for education for better expression, the US Copyright Office allows what is called fair use. Okay. And on this basis, a fair use can be made of, copying certain texts which are useful to show a student or show an audience what it means and so on, express it clearly with the effects and along with the citations. And that is helpful. In India, I don't think there is anything like this which has been given. But if you use this concept of fair use for the purpose of only education and nothing else, no commerce and nothing, then people won't mind. But it should be very, very limited. It should be mostly your own work. Even mathematical equations, if you want to write, you should not copy. We should write on our own and write it. It may look similar because equation is an equation, but you still write yourself. So, and use very minimal of material, very essentially what is used from the internet. Next slide, please. Yeah, now who keeps vigil? Authors, one who is writing. The person who is writing has to keep vigil, has to be aware and say that no, 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 I wasn't aware this and ye nahi chalega. This won't work. So the person has to be aware. Reviewers and peers, one who is examining. Okay, it can be a teacher, it can be an examiner, whoever, and if they notice it, they must immediately bring it to the notice of the author and say that, look, this is not done. Teachers, one who is teaching, like that case of A and B. Readers, one who is reading, like the case of X and Y. It is dangerous to assume that one won't get caught while doing any of the plagiarism activities. That is the Pappir case, which Dvaipayanda last time had explained so nicely, so clearly. The consequences can be difficult to tackle after passage of time, which is what he showed in his talk. So with that, I think we have come to the end, I think. Thank you, and I am ready to take questions and happy to discuss with you.
Yes. If there
Please
are
ask
any
freely.
questions,
Please ask
if there are any
freely.
questions, yeah. If there are any questions from the participants, you can either put them in the chat box or you can directly ask the question. Just raise your hand and we will unmute you. Yes. Okay, sir. So there are a couple of questions.
Yeah.
The first one is, please explain the percentage of plagiarism that is acceptable in dissertations, graduation projects, research papers, and using the Turnitin at international point of view. This question is from Dr. Muhammad Jahangir.
Yeah. For me, it is between 0 and 1%. The percentage varies. So some allowance is made for the students in the dissertations. Different universities is having different percentages. There is a UGC specified percentage. It's something like 5% or something. Some may even allow up to 8%. That's about it. And in the case of international, means suppose you are going to submit an abstract to a conference, let us say, then the first thing their examiners, what they do is they do plagiarism check. This is the first thing they do. So they'll give it to a person who will do the plagiarism check. So they will use, nowadays nobody is doing manually because nobody wants to spend so much time. So they will use the softwares called Turnitin or Authenticate and so on. And the software will report in so and so places the plagiarism are there. Then depending upon the severity of the plagiarism, they may either reject the abstract or ask the author to revise and resubmit. Now, this is a subjective call by the Board of Examiners of the conference, subjective call by the editors in the journals. What percentage they allow is journals don't allow in any percentage, so they are very particular about it. They want a declaration from the author saying that there is no plagiarized content in the manuscript. And in fact, in our institution, we have to give a declaration saying that there is no plagiarized content in the manuscript. We have to do that. And no means the percentage will be between 0 and 1%. It is okay. Because sometimes what happens is Authenticate may say that the name of the protein and the name of the protein written in the article is same. So in UniProt, you have written the same protein name. Okay. Name of the protein will remain same only. I cannot change the name just to get through the plagiarism. So that part has to be considered as okay. Then a reference citation. There also you will see Authenticate will say that this text is matching with so and so site. It will give you the sites. It will give you all the details. The detailed report will come. But references we have to write as it is, what is there. So that cannot be part of the plagiarized content. The remaining content, what you write in the dissertation or in this thing, that has to be, that cannot be plagiarized. Some words similarity will be there. Some words are used very often in scientific communication. Some words are used more less in a different style in other literature communication. So that will be there. So there the examiner has to take a call saying that, okay, up to this much I will allow and not more than that. And that is usually like 4-5% or 8%, something like that. It varies. So it is very low.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Sir, I would like interrupt the question answer session for a couple of seconds as principal sir has joined from his very busy schedule. So I request Professor Balram Pani, principal of the college and dean of colleges, University of Delhi, to say a few words. Sir, please. Sir, you are muted.
Yes.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, everybody. The speaker of the day, Dr. A.S. Ramachandran, Senior Principal Scientist, CSIR, IGIV, and Dr. Uma Dhawan, the coordinator, and dear students and my dear colleagues. And today it is the research integrity and ethics. And everywhere the integrity and ethics is the main part. Means whatever you will do, the integrity and ethics are the major part. And since we are the academicians, we should be very, very careful. And I think means wherever there is the integrity or ethics are there or not, but in education, in academic fields, the integrity and ethics should be there. And to that means what? Means the speaker is the expert in that field, means he has already might have told you everything. But whenever there is the plagiarism, it is the, you can say, academic criminal activity. Means you will have to be very, very careful. And in science, many things which are common. And you will have to go for the references, or it should be, means your integration is that, okay, I have taken it from here and there, whatever it is, you'll just give in the reference, then it will be better. Because we are the academicians, we should follow that path. And whenever there is the integrity or ethics, then you will have to follow some basic lines. And you should not copy it from anywhere else. You will have to study all these things very carefully. And whenever any thesis or any research work, articles, whatever you will write, you will, means these are, since it is the research work, you will have to study many materials, and whenever you will produce, you will have to produce your original things. That is the integration. And that ethics is that if you will take or if you will quote something else from somewhere else, you will have to put the reference. This is the ethics. So that means everybody will say that, okay, this paper is so and so, and therefore it is good. Means it is his or her original work. And based on that, means this type of, means in the undergraduate level, means since Dr. Uma Dhawan has taken the very good initiative that at the undergraduate level, we are giving this training to our students that, okay, be careful. And you should, since you are in the academic fields, So you will have to go by that way. Means since you are the teacher, you are just showing them the good path. Okay, you will have to follow this path so that you will not face any problem in future. Because right now I am saying that many things means every day and to every day I am facing that okay, somewhere there is a complaint that okay, so and so professor says means his paper or her paper is plagiarized. Means that should not be. And since you are giving them the undergraduate students this beautiful training, and they will be very much careful and they will be well equipped. Which part is, if you will take, it will be under the plagiarism rules, or which part is not plagiarism rules, then you will produce a good article of your own. Whenever you will produce and whenever you will put it in the software, if your paper will say that, okay, it is below 10, means it is the permissible range, means somewhere else it is around 15 or 17, but in good journals and in good paper, it will be below 10%. And that 10% means it is permissible range. Means you know that in everywhere there is the limit. So we should be within that limit. That is our integrity and ethics. And we will have to follow all these things. And as a student, means whenever the teachers, they are invigilating you at the time of exam, means they are saying that, okay, don't take a single line from anybody else from your peer groups. That is the plagiarism case. Means since we are always telling you that at the time of examinations, you will have to follow the ethics of the exam. Similarly, everywhere, ethics and integrity, it minds. Not only in this say, academic fields, means everywhere, you will have to be followed by this integrity and ethics, and definitely we will be success in life. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir, for joining us and sparing time from your very busy schedule and for your always encouraging words. Thank you. I know you are in a hurry, and so thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Go ahead.
So, sir, we will continue with the question answer session, sir. Yes,
Yeah.
shall we continue? Yeah, okay. Okay, sir, give me a second. So there are a couple of questions now in the chat box. The next question is, why is recycling our own figure wrong? Given that the figure we have to draw is similar to the one we have already drawn. It's not like we are stealing content from others. So this is a question from our first year student.
Yeah, so sometimes this type of necessity happens that if you have made a figure that has to be reused in other this thing, if you are the owner of the copyright, okay, first you have to be owner of the copyright of that figure. If you are owner of that copyright of the figure, then you can use it by giving a citation. Okay, there won't be any problem there. The journal may ask that for all the figures that you have used from other sources, you have to provide copyright permission. That is the author's responsibility. So you can say that I am having copyright, I am the owner of this figure. So you can say that to the journal and it will be okay. Where you have given the copyright to the publisher, okay, you have signed off saying that I assign copyright to my parent organization or the publisher. There, that person is the copyright holder. That is the publisher or the organization. So now if you want to use the same figure in another article, then you have to say apply for copyright permission from, because that person is holding the copyright. It may be your figure, but you have assigned that copyright to that person for publication. So then the Elsevier or anybody, they will say, okay, you can use it, and they'll give the permission for that particular use, and you have to use that figure only for that particular use only, and not beyond that. So that's an agreement between the author and Elsevier which is signed, and that agreement cannot be violated. So that is why you have to take the permission there. Is it clear?
Yes, sir, very much. So there are a couple of more questions. So this is a question from one of our audience from the live streaming YouTube about the YouTube only. So it says, in the YouTube community, especially the concept of copyright infringement is misused to the point where big companies such as UMG and T-Series copyright strike smaller creators who barely make covers of the song. So in these cases, the revenue, instead of going to the smaller creators or to the original creators, goes to these big companies. What are your thoughts on this?
See, it depends on, see, suppose, let me, instead of going to YouTube, let me take a very simple example, which is a slightly older mode of media work, that we know about. So let us say I wrote some poems. Okay, I wrote some poems, and I felt very good about it writing, and it looks like good poems. So then I go to a publisher and say that, Vaya, I want to publish these poems. Okay, can you accept this? So the publisher will review, and then if the publisher accepts, then the publisher will make you sign an agreement between author and the publisher. So everything is as per that agreement. So now the publisher will sell the poems in the book, printed book or e-book or whatever, through Google Books, anything. Okay, they will make arrangements and they will do very wide sales for that. Now, whatever they earn, some percentage the author will get. That agreement has been made. So in that agreement, whatever percentage that that author will get, you will get that. So it cannot be then challenged that no, you made more money, and because of this percentage now I am getting less. वो नहीं चलेगा, because that agreement, while making that agreement, that settlement should be made. If the publisher is giving low percentage and you have another publisher who is giving a higher percentage, you can go to that publisher and you can publish there. So it depends entirely. The decision is the author's. Sometimes we may not know, so then we may do this way, that way, and it may look a little bit wrong, but that the experience, everything becomes all right. Sales, nobody can predict. Viewers, nobody can predict. You can play a beautiful masterpiece and put it in the YouTube, and nobody will listen to it. Maybe maximum 10 views or whatever you will get. Sometimes you may get 1,000 views, sometimes you may get 100,000 views. You cannot predict that. So this way, the arrangement which is made between the publisher and the author is what you have to stick to.
Okay, thank you, sir. So the next question is, sometimes taking inspiration and copying terms are confused with each other. So the question is, how and where should we draw a line between getting inspired and copying the stuff?
Yeah. So the case of A and B, scenario of A and B, or the scenario of X and Y, they were basically quite similar to the case that you are mentioning. Getting inspired and then copying. Okay. So they both got inspired only. B got inspired from A and Y got inspired from X. They both got inspired. After getting inspired, then if you have to reproduce, you have to write the article or whatever may be the thing. You may get inspired by Bismillah Khan Shanai. Sun Liya, and it was really great from a Speak Make festival program. Excellent, excellent. You come back and try to play Shanai. It doesn't come out. Nothing close to Bismillah Khan. So then what to do? So this is basically the basic problem, that how you reproduce it. Getting inspired is probably easy. In fact, you can get inspired rather easily. Of course, the person who is having the originality is radiating that inspiration, is exciting that inspiration in the other person. No doubt about that. So you have to respect that, and then you write it on your own. The problem comes when you think that when you start writing on your own, you won't be as good. That's where the problem comes. You start thinking, I may not be as good. So Y could have written the article himself, but it may not have been as good. That is why that person is tempted to do the copy plagiarism. So you have to accept, if you are not good, then you should work harder. You should read, you should practice more, whether it is music or painting or whatever. You have to work harder. Working hard, people are lazy, so they don't want to work too much. जो easy है उसको कर लो. So that is one reason where you have to make a decision saying that, look, this is unethical. This is that person's work. I got inspiration. Fine. Now I have to do it myself with my own talent. If it is not good, then you have to take some tuition, tutorials, or add some additional books, or maybe ask that person, where did you learn? Then that person can share with you, will be happy to share with you that I went to this school and so on and so forth. And you also can try to access the same school and learn, and maybe you will become better. If not immediately, at least in some time, you will definitely become better. People become better by practice and practice. So that happens. So there is no way that that will be not rewarding. That will definitely be rewarding.
Yeah. Okay. So there are a couple more questions. The next question is, what should be the word limit for citing or quoting texts with proper acknowledgement?
Word limit, it is actually one sentence. One sentence is the maximum that you can do it. It is written in that article, Annals, what Uma ma'am showed you, in that article. You can also click it. I think it is written in that one sentence is okay. It's not the word limit. One sentence, because a sentence may have many words. So
Okay, sir. Sir, the next question is there any disadvantage of citing our own paper while writing a research paper?
no, there is no such thing. You are building on your previous work. So that is why you are citing it, which is good.
Yeah, we do cite, yeah, our own paper. Yeah, as you said, like, yeah, we are building on. So we definitely give reference to our own work, which we have done earlier.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think so. We will take one more question, last question, in the best interest of time. So this is, what do you think about the open source availability of research papers on websites like LibGen? Don't you think the knowledge should be freely available? Because some of the research papers have to be purchased, but these websites provide them freely.
Okay, so there are two models of publishing. The one model is called the open access model, okay, where the entire content, entire paper is available for free. The other one is hybrid model, where actually not hybrid, it is actually publisher model. So publisher access model. So, it's called subscription access model. So you have to subscribe. Okay. So in YouTube also, for premium view without ad, you have to subscribe. If you don't subscribe, you will get it for free, but it will be interrupted with ad. Am I right? You have that experience? You must be having that experience.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
So in the same way, everybody, see, these people are, they have to, earn their living. So it is all cost, hosting YouTube in a site and making it available for everybody without any virus or anything. These are all cost. So who will pay that cost? So you need to have a model for that. So the subscription based model. Now, what is the difference between the two? The difference is that in the subscription model, you have to pay and buy the article if you have not subscribed to it. Meaning that if you are part of a university or a department who has subscribed to a particular journal, then you can use that password and you can get access to that paper. If you try to access that paper from some other place, you cannot get access, because that license is very specific for that department, because the department has paid a certain amount for access to that journal papers. So in the same way, but if you are from outside and you still want the paper, then you have to pay that dollar fee or whatever they have given, and you purchase the paper, then it is yours. You can use it for your life. Many times students don't have the money. Okay, now they are getting money from contingencies, but otherwise they are generally not having money to buy. $25 also, it's very difficult for a student to shell out to get the papers. So then in that case, they look for the papers which are in the open access and see whether they can be used for their study, and that will be sufficient. If it is not, then sometimes you can ask the authors to send reprints. So they may send a limited amount of reprints to students. And I have also asked authors for reprints, and they have sent me, kind enough, and I have used it. So these are ways by which you can try to get access to the papers. Now there is depends on the institutions actually, that if they get a library fund and they subscribe to it, and then you get access to all the papers that are available under that subscription.
Okay, yeah. Thank you so much, sir. So I think so we will end this session here. So on behalf of the Research and Project Assessment Committee of the college and the participants, I extend a very hearty vote of thanks to Dr. Ramachandran for sparing time from his busy schedule. Thank you. Thank you, sir, for very insightful and interactive session. I hope all of us have gained a lot from your session and we have really enjoyed it. So, sir, you very aptly said that the plagiarism kills creativity. Creativity means thinking originally. So it's like, it's a take home message that we should keep that creativity, we should keep that originality without, getting lured by those comfort things where we just copy and put the assignments or manuscripts in place. So thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. So thank you to all the participants, both here on Zoom as well as those who are attending it through YouTube live streaming. Good evening, everyone. Take care and see you in the next session. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, all of you. Thank you, sir. So I have shared the feedback link in the chat box. I will also put the link on the Telegram group. So please do fill the feedback. Thank you, all of you.